like Yajurveda? Kanda 5, Prapathaka 7. The piling of the fire altar continued. Mantra 571 goes up to C. He who piles the fire without regard to the deity falls a victim to the deities. He becomes poorer. He who piles it according to the deity does not fall a victim to the deities. He becomes richer. With a Gayatri verse addressed to Agni, should he stroke the first layer with a Trishtub, the second, with a Jagati, the third, with an Anushtub, the fourth, with a Pankta, the fifth. Verily he piles the fire according to the deity. He falls not a victim to the deities. He becomes richer. This is the dividing of the sacrificial food. The food is cattle, and he piles it with cattle. He who piles the fire after announcing to Prajapata does not go to ruin. The horses should stand on either side, on the left the black, on the right the white. Having offered them, he should put down the bricks. That is the form of Prajapata. The horse is connected with Prajapata. Barely having announced to Prajapata in real presence, he piles the fire. He does not go to ruin. The white horse is the form of day, the black of night. The bricks are the form of day, the mortar of night. When about to put down the bricks, he should stroke the white horse. When about to put down the mortar, he should stroke the black. Barely with the days and nights he piles it. A golden vessel full of honey he gives, saying, "May I be possessed of honey," with a verse addressed to Surya, containing the word brilliant. He should gaze on it. Verily it becomes brilliant in the midday. He causes the horse to sniff it. Indra is yonder son, Prajapata is he. The horse is connected with Prajapata. Verily he wins him straightway. And all the light beings, here translated as gods or deities, if one is against one, then the rest of them regarded as against them. If one is insufficient with one, the rest of them regarded as insufficient with them. A similar thing comes through in Quran 97 to 103. I forget exactly which verses address this, but it's towards the beginning of the passage. Mantra 572 goes up to K. To thee, O Agni, the bold, the wise, I have come generating thee ever new. Thee our household rights, not halting. With thy keen holy power sharpen us. The bricks are cattle, and each layer he puts down bull, brick. Verily, in his sacrifice he makes a pairing for the propagation. Therefore in every herd there is a bull, the image of the year which men revere in thee, O night. Making his offspring rich in heroes, may he obtain all life. He puts down this Prajapata brick. The sole 8th day is this earth, and that food is made on the sole 8th day. He wins it thereby. This is the wish cow of Prajapata, and verily by it the sacrificer in yonder world milks the fire. With the light, or with the gods went upward, or with the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, or with the Angarasas, attain greatness. With that, does the sacrificer go in prosperity. The fire is piled for the world of heaven with these words. With the light, wherewith the gods went upwards, he lights the fire in the pan. Barely he puts down the bricks connected with the trees to win the world of heaven. Homage to the 100-weaponed, him of 100 powers, him of 100 aids, the overcomer of hostility, to Indra, who shall lead us over all obstacles, through autumns without fail, the four paths going to the gods, which stretch between sky and earth. To him, O gods, do ye all accord us, who brought to them unfailing power and untirelessness, summer, winter, and spring for us, autumn, the rains be favorable for us, and we enjoy the favor and protection of these seasons through 100 autumns. To the Edu year, the complete year, the year, pay ye honor great, in your loving kindness that are worthy of sacrifice. May we long be unfailing, unsmitten. Better than good have the gods brought together. With thee as aid, may we win thee. Do thou, wonder-working, O drop into us. Be propitious and kindly to our children. Our descendants he puts down these unfailing bricks. They are the gods unconquered. Rarely he enters them, he is not conquered. The theologians say, since the months, the half-months, the seasons, the years, cook the plants, then why is the offering of the first fruits made to other deities? The gods conquered these plants. If he were to offer to the seasons, he would cause strife with the gods, having offered the offering of first fruits. He offers these libations, verily he delights the half-months, the months, the seasons, the year. He does not cause strife with the gods, better than good have the gods brought together, he says, for the eating of the offering, to prevent the defeat of the sacrificer. And when one truly sacrifices, and one does it with the right consciousness and upon the right principles and all that, then they all agree with one, and one has true success. Sometimes you may win or lose a worldly battle that's, secondary, but you have success in regards to your choices with the various aspects of the world. Mantra 573 goes up to B. Verses uneven. So, thou art the thunderbolt of Indra, slaying foes, guarding our bodies, lying in wait. He who in east, south, west, in the north as a foe plots against us, may he strike on this rock. The gods and the asuras were in conflict. The asuras sought to force them from the quarters. The gods repelled them with arrow and thunderbolt. In that he puts down the thunderbolt bricks. He repels his foes with arrows and thunderbolt. In the quarters he puts down, verily he puts round him those citadels of the gods which guard the body. O Agni and Vishnu, may these songs gladden you in unison. Come ye with radiance and strength. The theologians say, since they do not offer to any deity, then what deity has the stream of wealth? Wealth is Agni, this stream is his. Wealth is Vishnu, this stream is his. With a verse addressed to Agni and Vishnu, he offers the stream of wealth. Verily he unites them with the proper portions. Verily also he makes this libation to have an abode. He wins that for desire, of which he makes this offering. The fire is Rudra, now two are his bodies, and dread the one, the auspicious the other, in that he offers the Satarudriya. He soothes with it his dread form, in that he offers the stream of wealth. He delights with it his auspicious form. He who knows the support of the stream of wealth finds support. If there is any butter left over in it, he should cook a mess for the Brahmins. 4 Brahmins should eat it. The Brahmin is Agni, the Isvanara. The Isvanara is the form dear to Agni. Verily he establishes it in its dear form. He should give 4 cows. Verily with them the sacrificer in yonder world milks the fire. Now, Islam has a similar teaching in respect to the implication that Satan doesn't mislead the servants. Now, if Iblis doesn't mislead the servants, well, as far as people are serving God, then the demons would have no portion according to that. And so they're like, well, if you just serve that side by laying down a brick, then, you get that. But a difference that they have there is the charity obligations are for the poor, not to pay some priestly class. There's no obligation to ever pay clergy. There's recommendation to help pay for houses of worship, but not even a recommendation to pay people for practicing religion. Hymn 4, so mantra 574 goes up to E. To thought I offer, with mind with ghee. He says the oblation to Visthakarman is called the undeceivable. The foe cannot deceive him who has piled. Rarely he also wins the gods. O Agda today, with these words, he offers with the Pankta verse, and by the Pankta and the libation he grasps the beginning of the sacrifice. 7 are thy kindling sticks, O Agnes, 7 thy tongues. He says, verily he wins the Hotar's offices. Agna went away from the gods, desiring a portion. To him they assign this as a portion. That is the Agnihotra of Agna. Then is he born indeed, when he is completely piled. Verily to him, on birth, he gives food. He delights him. He becomes richer. The theologians say, since it is as the Garhapatya that the fire is piled, then where is its Ahavaniya, yonder sun? He should reply, for in it they offer to all the gods. He who knowing thus piles the fire straightway makes pleased the gods. O Agna, the glorious, lead him to glory. Bring hither the flame that is Indra's. May he be head, overlord resplendent, most famed of his equals. With look auspicious first they underwent fervor and consecration, the seers who found the heavenly light. Thence was born the kingly power, might and force. May the gods in unison accord that to us, disposer, ordainer, and highest onlooker, Prajapata, supreme lord, the ruler, the stomas, the meters, the navids, mine they call. To him may we secure the kingdom. Turn towards me, come to me, may he be your ruler, your overlord. On his discernment do ye depend, upon him henceforth do ye all serve. He puts down these supporters of the realm. This is the realm supporting piling of the fire. Verily with it he bestows on him the kingly power. He becomes the kingly power. The kingly power does not fall away from him. And, well, behind that we have this idea of connecting through the positive first. But then again, fire takes things. So, but the sun and fire are on pretty much the same side of symbolism if you put things into a duality. Mantra 575 probably goes up to B, but let's see. Yep. Just as a son born dies, so dies he whose fire in the pan is extinguished. If he were to make it by friction, he would divide the fire. He would produce a foe for him, and must again be kindled with wood around. Verily he produces it from its own birthplace. He does not produce a foe for him. Darkness seizes on him whose fire in the pan is extinguished. Darkness is death, a black garment, a black heifer, or the sacrificial fees. Verily with darkness he smites away the darkness which is death. Gold he gives, gold is light. Verily with the light he smites away the darkness, moreover gold is brilliance. Verily he confers brilliance upon himself. Like heavenly light, the heat, hail. Like heavenly light, the arca, hail. Like heavenly light, the bright, hail. Like heavenly heavenly light, the light, hail. Like heavenly light, the sun, hail. The fire is Arca, the horse sacrifices yonder sun. In that he offers these libations, he unites the lights of the Arca and the horse sacrifice. He indeed is an offerer of the Arca and the horse sacrifice, for whom this is done in the fire. The waters were first this world. The moving Prapathaka saw this first layer. It he put down. It became this, earth. To him Vishvakarman said, "Let me come to thee. There is no space here," he answered. He saw the second layer. He put it down. It became the atmosphere. The sacrifice said to Prapathaka, "Let me come to thee." "There is no space here," he answered. He said to Vishvakarman, "Let me come to thee." "In what way wilt thou come to me?" "By the regional bricks," he replied. He came with the regional bricks. He put them down. They became the regions. The Supreme Lord said to Prapathaka, "Let me come to thee." "There's no space here," he answered. He said to Vishvakarman and the sacrifice, "Let me come to you too." "There is no space here," they answered. They saw this third layer. He put it down. It became yonder world. Aditya said to Prapathaka, "Let me come to thee." "There is no space here," he answered. He said to Vishvakarman and the sacrifice, "Let me come to you too." "There is no space here," they answered. He said to the Supreme Lord, "Let me come to thee." "In what way wilt thou come to me?" "By the space filler," he replied. He came to him by the space filler. Therefore the space filler is unexhausted, for yonder Aditya is unexhausted. To them the seers said, "Let us come to you." "In what way will ye come?" "By greatness," they replied. To them they came with 2 more layers. The fire became one of 5 layers. He who, knowing thus, piles the fire becomes greater. He conquers these worlds. The gods know him. Moreover, he attains community with these deities. Now, empirically, I'm not sure that we can look past the 4th dimension if we presume that the 4th dimension is time rather than some dimension in between time and that. Because we look through space, and perhaps maybe the 5th dimension would be matter itself, even though height, depth, and width would be the first 3 dimensions. Maybe, so what if the importance of the number 6 is that we're looking at beings? Or we're referring to beings that are beyond, what we can imagine, and that's how they're beyond what we can imagine. And then other beings, the entities that are being listed as gods, the devas and the asuras on the other side, if you want to include the rakshasas and the pistas and perhaps other names as part of that, or a separate, the same thing. And how are they defeated? Because they're came at from a different angle, and so it's, they don't have to be broken up open to be defeated. They can have respite in that way. It makes sense experientially too, because from our perspective, we're like, there's not enough space, there's not enough matter, there's not the time. Mantra 576. And if we divide time and matter, how many dimensions would it have outside the terms of the other 2? Anyways, 576 goes up to H. The fire is a bird. If the piler of the fire were to eat of a bird, he would be eating the fire. He would go to ruin. For a year should he observe the vow, for a vow goes not beyond a year. The fire is an animal. Now, an animal destroys him who moves up to it face to face. Therefore, he should go up to it from behind while it is looking towards the front. To prevent injury to himself, brilliance art thou. Grant me brilliance. Restrained earth, guard me from the earth. Light art thou, grant me light. Restrain the atmosphere, guard me from the atmosphere. Heavenly light art thou, grant me heavenly light. Restrain the heavenly light, guard me from the sky, he says. By these are these worlds supported, and that he puts them down it is for the support of these worlds. Having put down the naturally perforated bricks, he puts down the gold bricks. The naturally perforated are these worlds. Gold is light, in that having put down the naturally perforated, he puts down the gold bricks. Verily he makes these worlds full of light by means of them. Verily also by them these worlds shine forth for him. Those flames of thine, O Agni, which rising in the sun, with rays envelop the sky, with all of them bring us to brilliance, to man. Those flames of yours in the sun, O gods, those flames in cattle and horses, O Indra and Agni, with all of these grant us brilliance, O Brihaspati, grant us brilliance in our Brahmins, place brilliance in our princes, brilliance in Visyas and Sudras, with thy flame grant me brilliance. The glory and power of him who has piled the fire go apart twofold, are to the fire which he has piled, are to the man who has sacrificed. In that he offers these libations, he places in himself power and fame. He who having piled the fire steps on it is liable to go to ruin. To thee I come praising with holy power. With this verse addressed to Varuna, should he offer, that is the soothing of the fire and the protection of himself. He who piles the fire is made into an offering. Just as an offering spills, so he spills who, having piled the fire, approaches a woman. With clotted curds for Mitra and Varuna he should sacrifice. Verily he approaches unity with Mitra and Varuna to avoid his spilling. He who knows the fire to rest on the seasons. For him the seasons go in order. He finds support. The fire resting on the seasons is the year. The head is the spring, the right side summer. The tail the rains, the left side autumn, the middle winter. The layers, the first half months. The mortar, the second half months. The bricks, the days and nights. This is the fire resting on the seasons. He who knows thus, for him the seasons go in order, he finds support. Prajapata, desirous of supremacy, put down the fire. Then did he attain supremacy. He who knowing thus piles the fire attains supremacy. And in Celtic culture, a year and a day would at least be the initial period of a marriage. And then there'd be like a more final decision after that. But you kind of be stuck for the first year and a day. And then one would decide whether it was forever at that point. Mantra 577 goes up to K. What has flowed from purpose, our heart, or what is gathered from mind, our sight, follow to the world of good deed. Where are the seers, the firstborn, the ancient ones? This I place around thee, O abode, the treasure, whom the all-knower hath brought here. After you, the Lord of the sacrifice will follow. Know ye him in the highest firmament. Know ye, O gods, associates, ye know his form. When he shall come by the paths God travelled, do ye reveal to him what is sacrificed and bestowed. Move ye forward, go ye along together. Make ye the paths God travelled, O Agni. In this highest abode, O all gods, sit ye with the sacrificer, with the strew, the encircling stick, the offering ladle, the altar, the grass, baris, with the rich, bear this sacrifice for us, to go to the heaven, to the gods. What is offered, what is handled over, what is given, the sacrificial fee, that may Agni Vaisthanara place in the sky among the gods for us, that which by thou bearest 1,000, thou, O Agni, all wealth, by that path do thou bear the sacrifice of ours, to go to the gods in heaven, by that path, by which, O Agni, the priests busy bear the fees, the sacrifice. By that do thou bear the sacrifice of ours, to go to the gods in heaven, by that path, by which, O Agni, the doers of good deeds obtain the streams of honey. By that do thou bear the sacrifice of ours, to go to the gods in heaven, where are the streams that fail not, of honey and of ghee. May Agni the Isvanara place us in heaven among the gods. And the god travel paths are kind of like the, in the Kabbalistic worlds between the spheres and the Sufi stuff before that, and other paths that go much older than that. It's the same thing. And, well, the spiritual worlds overlap, but, you can transcend and transcend and transcend one layer of existence and other, and that be your final platform. Mantra 578 goes up to C. Thy kindling sticks, O Agni, thine abodes, thy tongues, O all-knower, thy light, thy cracklings, thy drops, with these pile thyself, well knowing the fire is an extended sacrifice. What of it is performed, what not? What the Advaryu in piling the fire emits, that of himself he emits. Thy kindling sticks, O Agni, thine abodes. He says, this is the self-piling of the fire. Merely, the fire piles the fire. The Advaryu emits nothing from himself. To the four quarters let the fires advance. May he bear this sacrifice for us, well knowing, making rich the ghee, immortal, full of heroes. The holy power is the kindling stick of the libations. The tortoise is put down for the world of heaven. To the four quarters let the fires advance. He says, verily by it he recognizes the quarters. May he bear the sacrifice for us, well knowing, he says, for guidance to the world of heaven. The holy power is the kindling stick of the libations, he says. By means of the holy power, the gods went to the world of heaven. And that he puts down the tortoise with a verse containing the word holy power. By the holy power, the sacrificer goes to the world of heaven. The fire is Prajapata here, cattle are the offspring, the form, the meters. All colors of bricks should he make. Verily by the form he wins offspring, cattle, the meters. Verily he also piles it for winning of offspring, cattle, the meters. And I would say sacrificial animals should be ones that you can eat, ones that are sufficient in eating, ones that you kind of would know, that it's not going to hurt the balance and stuff of life. There are reptiles and amphibians on the property that I live on that are, under federal protection, under international protection. So, obviously, for that aspect alone, it's not worth going to prison for up to 10 years for to just, put some animal in a fire. And why does it have to go in the fire? And maybe it's just present in the ritual too, Mantra 579, but still they don't let you touch them unless you're like saving their life or something. Goes up to D. In me I take first Agni, for increase of wealth, for good offspring with noble heroes. In me offspring, in me radiance I place. May we be unharmed in our body with good heroes. The immortal Agni who hath entered into us mortals within the heart of fathers. May we enclose him in ourselves. May he not abandon us and go afar. If the Advaryu, without taking the fire in himself, were to pile it, he would pile his own fire also for the sacrificer. Now cattle depend upon the fire. Cattle would be likely to depart from him. In me I take first Agni, he says. Verily in himself he supports his own fire. Cattle depart not from him. The theologians say, since clay and water are not food for Agni, then why is he piled with clay and water? In that he joins with water, and all the deities are the waters. Merely he unites him with the waters, in that he piles with clay, and Agni the Isvanar is this earth. Merely he piles Agni with Agni. The theologians say, since the fire is piled with clay and water, then why is it called the fire? In that he piles with the meters are fires. Therefore is it called fire. Moreover, Agni the Isvanar is this earth, in that he piles with clay. Verily it is called the fire. He puts down the golden bricks. Gold is light. Verily he confers light upon him. Again gold is brilliance. Verily he confers radiance upon himself. He who piles the fire with faces on all sides, eats food and all his offspring, conquers all the quarters. In the east he puts down a Gayatri, a Preshtub on the south, a Jagati on the west, an Anushtub on the north, a Pankta in the middle. This is the fire with faces on all sides. He who, knowing thus, piles it, eats food and all his offspring, conquers all the quarters. Verily also he weaves quarter in quarter, therefore quarter is woven in quarter. And once we connect to the various parts, the interconnectedness of all the parts is to be focused on, or, at the same time. Mantra 5, 7, 10. Prajapati created the fire. It created, ran away east from him. He cast the horse at it. It turned to the south. He cast the ram at it. It turned to the west. He cast the bull at it. It turned to the north. He cast the goat at it. It ran upwards. He cast the man at it. In that he puts down the heads of animals. He piles it, winning it on every side. The heads of animals are bricks, breath supporting, full of sight. In that he puts down the heads of animals. The sacrificer breathes with them in yonder world. Really also these worlds shine forth for him by them. He puts them down after smearing with mud for purity. The fire is an animal. Animals are food. The heads of animals are this fire. If he desire of a man, may his food be less, he should put down for him the heads of animals more closely together. His food becomes less. If he desire of a man, may his food be similar to what he has now. He should put them down for him at a mean distance. Verily his food becomes the same. If he desire of a man, may his food become more. He should put them down, separating them at the ends of the pile. Verily at the ends also he wins food for him. His food becomes more. Now, execution in war can be a religious deed, but as base requirements, then that would at some point encourage war that would have been unnecessary otherwise. So, the animals, which are eaten anyways. And it almost sounded like it was astronomical, right? Like nowadays, we have the horse as the quadrant of the east, our summer. Our spring, and then in summer, our, south of that position, but, rotates through the year, and then an overall rotation of about once every 72 years, there's a degree. But the camel, and then you got the bear, and then you got the dragon. In our astrological sort of viewpoint. In terms of the zodiac, we have a man, we have a bull, we have a lion, we have an eagle. But next to the eagle is a horse, and then you got a goat. Next to the man is a fish and a ram. Some people will show a lamb and, and pair them and all that. Next Next to the bull, you again have a pair of people or a woman, and then you have crabs. And next to the lion, we have a young woman, and then they have some dude with scales, or, you can put different animals. Maybe you got one of those, instead of the scale ones, you have one of those animals with the big old beaks that catch fish. And the horse sacrifice continues with mantra 5, 7, 11 to 26. 5, 7, 11. Flies with the teeth, frogs with the grinders, the cater with the gnar, strength with the digester, the wild with the kneecap, clay with the gums, avaka grass with pieces of gravel, with the avakas gravel, with the hump, the tongue, with the shouter, the palate, sarasvati with the tongue tip, and okay, is that with pieces of gravel? Because that's how it grows. Yeah, some things favor rocky soil more than just plain soil. Mantra 5, 7, 12. Strength with the jaws, the waters with the mouth, the adityas with the hair, support with the lower lip, the existent with the upper, the clearness with what is between, by the gloss, the external, radiance, by the knob, the thunderings, by the eyes, Surya and Agni, by the two pupils, the two lightnings, the lightning stroke by the brain, might by the marrow parts. Mantra 5, 7, 13. So the lower lip is the supporter of existence. Okay. Well, you reach these states where you can see like brain patterns, and it is like lightning or something. But how exactly that comes about? Mantra 5, 7, 13. Tortoises with the hooves, with the flesh of the hooves, francolin. Partridges, the saban with the dew claws. Speed with the legs, health with the two knees, strength with the two kuhas, fear with the two movers, the secret with the two sides, the aspens with the two shoulders, aditya with the head, nerete with the bald head. And we also see with these connections being drawn, replacements that can be used in the ritual. Mantra 5, 7, 14. The yoke thong with the pits of the legs, the yoke with the bent part, thought with the neck, sounds with the breaths, with the gloss skin, the parakasa, the interior, with hair of the flies, Indra with the hard-working part, Brihaspata with the seat of the birds, the chariot with the cervical vertebra. Mantra 5, 7, 15. Indra and Indra and Varuna with the two buttocks, Indra and Agni with the flesh below the buttocks, Indra and Brihaspati with the two thighs, Indra and Vishnu with the knees, Savitar with the tail, the Gandharvas with the penis, the Apsarasas with the testicles, the purifying with the anus, the strainer with the two potras, the going with the two sathuras, the going to with the two centers of the loins. And we would say that the same would be for the female genitalia. And see, in this culture, they could mention these sorts of things, these sorts of aspects of life, respectfully. Mantra 5, 7, 16, for Indra the breast, for Aditya the flanks, for the quarters, the cervical cartilages, the clouds with the heart and its covering, atmosphere with the pericardium, the mist with the flesh of the stomach, Indrani with the lungs, ants with the liver, the hills with the intestines, the ocean with the stomach, the Isvanara with the fundament. Now, sometimes the stomach is given fire aspects because, it dissolves and processes and you feel heat sometimes if you eat too much. Or Mantra 5, 7, 17, for Pushan, the rectum, for the blind serpent, the large entrails, serpents with entrails, seasons with the transverse processes, sky with the back, for the Vasus, the first vertebra, for the Rudras, the second, for the Adityas, the third, for the Angarasas, the fourth, for the Sathyas, the fifth, for the All Gods, the sixth. Mantra 5, 7, 18, force with the neck, Nerete with the bones, Indra with the hard-working bearing part, for Rudra, the moving shoulder, for day and night, the second part, for the half-months, the third, for the months, the fourth, for the seasons, the fifth, for the year, the sixth. Mantra 5, 7, 19, joy with the delighter, love with the two pratyasas, fear with the two satimas, command with the two prasasas, sun and moon with the two kidney parts, the dark and the light with the two kidneys, the dawning with the form, the setting with the formless. Mantra 5, 7, 20, day with the flesh, night with the fat, the waters with the juice, ghee with the sap, ice with the fat, vasa, hail with the rheum of the eyes, with tears, hoarfrost, sky with the form, the nakshatras with the shadow, earth with the hide, the skin with the skin. To it brought up, hail. To it slaughtered, hail. To it offered, hail. Mantra 5, 7, 21. For Agna, the first rib, for Sarasvati, the second, for Soma, the third, for the waters, the fourth, for the plants, the fifth, for the year, the sixth, for the Marutas, the seventh, for Brihaspati, the eighth, for Mitra, the ninth, for Varuna, the 10th, for Indra, the 11th, for the all gods, the 12th, for sky and earth, the side, for Yama, the side bone. Mantra 5, 7, 22. For Vayu, the first rib, for Sarasvat, the second, for the moon, the third, for the nakshatras, the fourth, for Savatar, the fifth, for Ruda, the sixth, for the serpents, the seventh, for Aryaman, the eighth, for Tvashtar, the ninth, for Dhatar, the 10th, for Indrani, the 11th, for Aditya, the 12th, for sky and earth, the side, for Yama, the side bone. Now, the myth about Eve being taken from one of Adam's ribs, but we're not missing a rib, so, we have these little ribs at the bottom, so I guess, people were trying to explain that. It's not saying any different than if we were saying that Eve was from, was a half with Adam, right? Mantra 5, 7, 23. The path with the two parts, near the kidneys, continuance with the two sinew parts, parrots with bile, jaundice with the liver, the hedikshnas with the evil wind, kuthmas with the dung, the worms with the contents of the intestines, dogs with the cutting up, serpents with the smell of the blood, birds with the smell of the cooking, ants with the fragments. Just more confirmation that they ate meat in that culture. Mantra 5724, with strides the courser hath strode out, in unison with the all gods worthy of sacrifice. Do thou bear us to the world of good deeds, may we rejoice in thy strength. And regardless of our connection, our strength, and other means are things that we have been given as a means, rather than we have been given because we just decided and it's our power, regardless of, no source or something like that. People like, oh, universe is eternal and you're eternal. And it's like, no, we don't see that. Mantra 5725 goes up to B. Thy back is the sky, thy place earth, thy breath the atmosphere, thy birthplace the ocean, thine eye the sun, thy breath the wind, thine ear the moon, thy joints the months, and the half months, thy limbs the seasons, thy greatness the year. Mantra 5726. Agna was the animal. With it they sacrificed. It won this world where Agna is. This is thy world. Thou wilt win it. And so snuff it. Vayu was the animal. With it they sacrificed. It won this world where Vayu is. This is thy world. Therefrom will I obstruct thee if thou dost not snuff it. Aditya was the animal. With it they sacrificed. It won this world where Aditya is. This is thy world. Thou wilt win it if thou dost snuff it. And inhaling the meat of the horse, or what exactly are they snuffing?